By 1755, the French and the British had conquered and colonized most of the world. Even with their vast empires, they each coveted what the other possessed. The crown jewel both claimed as their own was the Americas. The French army, with the Ohio and Missouri rivers in its grip, controlled the West. The British ruled the East. Between them lay the quiet land of the Hudson Valley. It was here that the lives of soldiers and settlers alike would be lost. It was here that the war would be fought. Yet out of this war survived the likes of Washington, Jefferson, and Franklin, men destined to construct our nation. So too were the legends of our land born, and none was more magnificent than the one they called Hawkeye.
Elizabeth, are you not bothered by these flying fleas?
Well, yes. But they are the least of what bothers me. We haven't seen a human being or a sign of civilization for days.
Elizabeth, I begged you to be sure of your commitment to this journey before we started.
7 weeks of fleas and foul weather and loneliness have worn down my commitment. This is an adventure for younger men, William.
So there it is said. When we married 5 years ago, you took my age to be strength and wisdom. And now you see it as weakness and naivety.
That is not what I meant. Forgive me. But you must face the fact that... William.
They may be friendless, Elizabeth. Do not panic.
Take the one on the right. Shoot, white men, now!
Shot the savage. Did you see, Elizabeth?
I saw.
You missed. He didn't.
No, I beg to differ. But I'm sure it was my shot. I made the shot.
Morning. My name's Nathaniel Bumpel. People around here call me Hawkeye. Where you headed?
We traveled to Fort Bennington. I am William Shields, and this is my wife, Elizabeth.
William, I think that we owe this man and the Indian a debt of gratitude.
Oh, to the savage, indeed, I am indebted. But, sir, could you kindly explain and set the record straight that it was I who made the shot? Please tell them the truth of this matter.
Well, sir, the truth of the matter, if it's important to you, is whatever way you saw it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Well, if you would care to accompany us to Fort Bennington, you're welcome of my protection.
Much obliged. But the savage and I have business elsewhere.
This belongs to your husband. He may need it again.
Well, you would have thought they could have at least said thank you. So, what do you think of me now, Elizabeth? Still unfit for this frontier life?
Enter. Speak quickly.
By your leave, Captain Shields. You requested that you be notified of your brother's approach. They are here.
Safe?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. What serendipity to finally have educated, genteel beings amidst this chaotic, uncouth wilderness, eh, Holland?
Sir?
Exactly. Bring brandy.
Yes, sir.
William. Oh, brother. Elizabeth,
Taylor.
by God's grace, you've finally arrived. Cleanse the wilderness from your throats.
Oh, no.
Drink to the new life.
The frontier life seems to suit you, Taylor. Does it not, Elizabeth?
Well, indeed it does. How are you?
With your arrival at last, excellent. Tell me of yourself, Elizabeth.
Well, she will tell you that it was I who made our journey safe, even though we were attacked by hostile Indians.
You were attacked by Hurons?
Yes, two of them. I dispatched one of them.
And what of the other?
A woodsman by the name of Hawkeye and his Indian friend assisted us.
Hawkeye and Chingachgook came to your rescue, but you killed the Indians.
I don't want to boast, Taylor, but it was more like we came to their rescue. What do you think of your gout-ridden brother now, By God, these woods make me feel young. Is the trading post in ready for our merchandise?
Yes, I believe so.
I'll see to the horses. You see to our new business, Elizabeth.
He shot an Indian.
Yes. And here's the ball that did it.
A moment, Taylor. This frontier is all you said it would be. It invigorates me. But I am quite anxious to meet with Colonel Monroe. Have you secured the trading contracts with His Majesty's Army, as you promised?
I have made great strides in getting Colonel Monroe's blessing. As we speak, the matter is pending with General Braddock.
But they are not yet done. There is no problem, is there, Taylor?
None that I shall not solve, brother. You need to wash and rest. We'll talk business later. Welcome.
Howdy, ma'am. You must be Mrs. Elizabeth Shields.
Yes.
Well, hi, I'm McKinney, and this here's Peavy.
Hello.
Well, welcome to Fort Bennington.
Thank you.
Mallards, ma'am. We catch them off the lake.
We've been sort of caretaking the place on anticipation of your arrival.
Spent 2 weeks cleaning and getting stuff organized.
2 weeks?
Well, figured it's the least we could do, seeing as you might hire us as assistant managers.
Assistant managers?
Well, perhaps the assistant part in the beginning and the manager part to follow.
I see.
Dang, that's what that thing was! Come here!
Miss Shields, we'll take care of this in no time. Peavy!
How long have you lived with the Delaware?
Almost 20 years.
Then why do you still behave like a foolish white man?
You mean touch the clouds?
Yes. You should have killed him.
He put down his tomahawk, turned away.
But it was his brother that you killed.
In a fair battle?
No difference. Touch the clouds will be satisfied only when you lie next to his brother.
Well, let's hope he has to wait a spell.
You are too forgiving.
It's the Christian way.
It's a dangerous way.
I do not kill if I have a choice, Chingachgook.
Well, let's hope you have a choice when Touch the Cloud comes to kill you.
Right.
Think Miss Shields took a liking to us?
What's there not to like about us, Peavy? Just let me do the negotiating for our jobs. Well, we caught the little devil. You know, Mrs. Shields, it takes a heap of doing to run a place like this.
Well, I certainly agree that it's going to need a lot of hard work.
And not to mention enterprise and able-bodied employees like me and Peavy would be.
All right. I propose full-time hours, meaning dawn to dusk, 6 days a week with Sundays free. Full responsibilities for any breakage or the disappearance of any inventory. And I will charge you for any consumables that you eat or drink at the prevailing prices. And naturally, the same applies to any days that you are late, sick, or you fail to show up at all. Now, with that in mind, I propose 30 pence a week as a fair wage.
Ma'am, that seems mighty fair, generous even. But I was wondering if you could possibly see your way to making it 35 pence a week.
Perhaps in time, Mr. McKinney, after you and Peavy have proven yourselves worthy.
Right. Excellent.
Good. Then start by unloading the wagon out front.
Okay. Come on.
Great negotiating. Now we're gonna work and still be broke.
Boys?
Okay.
Mrs. Shields, I was wondering if you might have a small amount of whale's oil available.
Whale's oil. What's it for?
Oh, it needs a little wetting. Knife's only as good as it is sharp.
Oh, well, I have something that's just as good if you'll help me with this.
Certainly.
It's called neat's foot oil. In Virginia, we make it from boiling the feet and the shin bones of cattle.
Thank you. I'll return it.
Mr. Hawkeye, I know what happened out there with the Indians. I know you fired the shot.
Hardly matters.
To William, it did.
Then let him think what he wants.
May I ask you a question? Do you think that a man like my husband has a chance in a place like this?
Depends. A chance for what?
What I mean, Mr. Hawkeye, is what does it take to survive here?
Well, a man needs to be fleet of foot, sharp of eye, helps to know a thing or two about nature, both the human and the natural kind.
Not that. What does it really take?
Well, I suppose the same thing it takes any place else. A man has to have the proper heart for it.
Well, you know this place. Can a man like William have that heart?
Well, begging your pardon, ma'am, but I reckon you know your husband better than I do.
Enter.
Elizabeth seems to be getting the upper hand at the trading post. I do hope she can adjust to this wilderness.
With time, one can adjust to anything.
Yes. Well, dear brother, I'm putting up a large sum of money for this enterprise, and I'm risking whatever is left of my marriage because of it. You promised to deliver contracts not only from His Majesty's army, but also from friendly Indian tribes to ensure the success of this business. Have you, as usual, failed?
I have not failed. The contracts will come.
Taylor, I bought you your commission in this army after you had squandered what our father left us.
William, I was 18 years old, for God's sake.
Yes, and I purchased your captaincy in order to give you another chance.
I am aware of my obligation to you, William. Do not hold my debt to you like a dagger to my throat.
Then deliver. Or the reserve of your inheritance that I control will be used to finance my return to Virginia.
But it is rightfully mine to use.
No, Taylor, it is now mine, and therefore Elizabeth's. And only by my grace can it ever be yours again. You remember this, Taylor, and get me those contracts you promised.
And what can happen to you by my grace, dear brother?
nonsense. This is all nonsense. There are enough ways for a man to die out here without creating others. I'll not spend the rest of my days walking forward and backward at the same time. I'll not sleep with one eye open. And I will not go out hunting and become the hunted. So let there be a time and a place where this will be settled.
Now is the time, Hawkeye. In the camp of my father.
Son died a warrior's death. Why must that be avenged?
My brother's spirit cries out for justice.
This quarrel is ended.
Stealing His Majesty's munitions is a hanging offense, gentlemen. And I recoil to think what would be done to you if you killed one of his officers. Besides, I bring you employment. Now, Mr. Doyle and Mr. Coughlin, shall we chat? Moment of your time, brother.
What is it, Taylor?
As I assured you, I have secured a trading pact with you and the Senecas.
Wondrous. Who are they, and where do they live?
They are a member of what is called the Iroquois Nation. They are Indians.
Are you mad? I'm to trade with the hostiles?
Hear me out. The Senecas are a large tribe. If you succeed in garnering their trade, you could have access to the entire Iroquois nation of 6 tribes. The man who controls the Indians controls all of the trade in this land. Now, 'tis risky, but the rewards, they far outweigh the jeopardy. You wanted riches, I am handing them to you.
I think you are handing him his death. William is right. This is madness, Taylor.
Far from it, Elizabeth. This is opportunity. If William does not seize this, then others will. And the Senecas are dissatisfied with the French goods.
William, please do not listen to him. This is a venture for men with no obligations, no family.
Do I have a family, Elizabeth? Are you telling me long-awaited news?
No, I'm not.
Then leave this affair to me. How will I make contact with these Senecas?
I have hired 2 very reliable and seasoned trappers to guide you to the Senecas' village. It will be a quick trek, and they are well liked by the Senecas.
Then I will leave immediately. Make the necessary arrangements, Taylor.
Brother. Elizabeth?
Say nothing. It is done. Taylor may not have inherited very much of the intelligence in the Shields clan, but he is clever, nonetheless.
Shrewd is more like it.
Well, shrewd. May earn Taylor the keys of some small kingdom, but it's a nearsighted goal. There is true wealth and genuine power to be had in this frontier, Elizabeth. Oh, I realize you do not yet agree, but in time, I think this journey will prove to be worth taking for both of us.
It is 1,000 miles away from everything we know.
Yes. And that's the adventure. I said something earlier that was not polite, nor intended.
I would give you a family, if I could.
If we could. A man lives to a certain age, only to realize that he is mortal, and his true needs are simple. And he's very lucky if he finds them.
And have you?
Yes. The happiest hours of a sufficiently happy life I have spent with you. Should anything ever happen to me, promise you will remember that. Promise.
Yes. I've heard it said by those who make their lives on the sea that when you do not know the harbor you seek, then no wind is the right wind. I feel in my heart that same sense of being lost, and yet, strangely, I am not afraid, for there is a wild and feral beauty here. Nature is free and untamed, and I know that is the way the hand which fashioned it meant it to be.
That was the greatest shooting I ever seen. 2 paddles, 1 ball.
Maybe I shot the wrong boat.
Well?
It's done.
Witnesses?
Just one. The woodsman.
Will he agree it was accidental?
He can tell the color of a bird before you can even see it. And what he saw was a man accidentally falling overboard. I'd stake my life on it.
Excellent, Coughlin. And a stake will be part of your life. If you are wrong.
Won't be a stake in my heart, Captain. It'll be a feathered shaft.
Pardon me, Mr. Coughlin.
Begging your respect, sir. We're thinking Colonel Monroe should hear what we have to say.
Well, that was pretty close, Mr. Gunderson. But I think that it clearly proves my point that normally a spittoon is larger.
Mrs. Shields, Doyle and Coughlin are back.
Oh, good. Tell my husband that I'm with a customer.
Begging your pardon, ma'am, but he ain't with him.
With them, PV, not with him. Please attend to Mr. Gunderson.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I to understand, Captain Shields, that the French have been near completion of a fort a mere 50 miles north of here, and we are now just learning of it?
Sir, I believe it is a wiser path to travel when one has fact, not fiction. I had heard from our natives that a French fort was under construction, but given that they are so faithfully inaccurate, I dispatched these gentlemen, along with my own brother, to confirm it.
I was under the impression that your brother had been sent north to negotiate a trading pact with the Seneca.
What is urgent now, sir, is that the French are about to have a strategic post with which they can attack.
Come.
Forgive the interruption, Colonel Monroe, but I was anxious to see William. What?
We have some tragic news, Elizabeth. William has been captured by the Huron.
How did this happen?
Well, ma'am, one moment we was being chased by the heathens, and then, Willem, well, he sort of fell out of the boat.
Was he alive?
Yes, ma'am. Well, to tell it right, if it hadn't have been for the woodsman, we all would have been ribbons of jerky drying on a squaw's rig.
That will do, Coughlin. More than likely, the Huron have handed him over to the French. The rescue party will be promptly organized. We will get him back, Elizabeth.
It will not be a rescue party that will be attempted, Captain Shields.
Sir?
Prepare to send a runner to General Braddock. I should think that 4 of his 12-pounders, along with the mortars and the howitzers now on hand, should be ample to assault the French.
Forgive me, Colonel Monroe, but if you attack the fort, what will happen to William?
Mrs. Shields, you must understand, if the French complete this fort, many proud men will die. We will make every effort to secure your husband's release. Prepare to march within 24 hours.
The French have been known to treat their captives civilly, and we will ask for the immediate release of all hostages prior to the assault.
Taylor, if you care for your brother, you must send someone at once to speak to the French. It is William's only hope.
Do not speak to me of caring for my brother. I brought him to this wilderness to free him from a life of gout and boredom. I put the fire back in his belly, me. If he is to die in this land, then so be it.
It is your duty to...
It is my duty to serve my country before my brother. I clearly see and perform my duties as a servant to His Majesty. And from what William tells me, you... Wait here and pray. Pray for his safe return.
you.